Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is a place for you to learn a lot of new things, get a lot of new information on, and grow your knowledge base. So, if you're someone who's interested in listening to discussions, reviews, then this is the channel for you. And I hope that you enjoy our today's discussion. So, now moving towards the discussion video. Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Have a Conversation. This is our next group discussion on biking community, and we are joined today by two immensely talented bikers, Arijit and Fahad. I've spoken to both of them individually on various things related to bikes, the motivation, the biking community, the investment that goes behind it, the thrill, the risk factors, everything about bikes has been discussed in this video. So if you like biking or you want to know more about it, watch this video till the end.
I'll straight away jump to the first part of the conversation, which is that how did you start with this whole biking? How did you develop an interest in it so much enough to invest in it? Because I'm sure that it has taken a lot of investment in terms of money also, right? Not just
Absolutely.
time, but yeah. So इतना इंटरेस्ट कब आया कि चलो इस बाइक खरीदते हैं और ये स्टार्ट करते हैं?
So, the interest is basically there has been an interest since I was a kid. So it all started with every middle class Indian guy watching Doom, John Abraham riding his Hayabusa. So that's where the craze developed. And then I was very fascinated looking at these super bikes whenever they went past by, whenever I like was a child. I used to walk down the road. I used to
Yeah.
hear those bikes zooming past somewhere in the other on the other road. So that's where I researched more about this. And then I got the first bicycle. So bicycle is basically the first baby step towards riding a two-wheeler. Then moving into college, I used my friend's basically a scooter just to get hands on a petrol vehicle like a two-wheeler. And then I was more confident when Yulu electric bikes came into picture. I used to ride them a lot. And then from that, my friend bought his first bike, and I was like, I really want to ride that. And it's basically the same model that I have right now, which is a Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. So I got that. I mean, I rode that. It was heavy. In Shimla, when I went, this was like around 3 years ago. So I rented a bike over there. And then I was like, that if I can ride a bike in the mountains, where the terrain is like very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so in a city, it wouldn't be a challenge. So I was like, yeah, let's just do this. Let's just get a bike. And of course, I used to watch all these motor vloggers and stuff on YouTube. So I was like, I want to record something, but which is like not way too dangerous, but also which is quite aesthetically pleasing and gives some good education to the youth as well in terms of how you
Yeah.
should be riding. So yeah.
So, for your question that how I went into the motorcycle enthusiasm thing, is that like right from my childhood days, I think my first memory of riding a bicycle, learning to ride a bicycle, like it was a kind of freedom for me. Like बचपन में जब हम होते हैं, so there are many constraints from our parents. Okay, पढ़ाई करो, घूमने मत इधर मत जाओ, ज़्यादा खेलने के लिए नहीं. But whenever I used to be on my bicycle, it made me feel free for that moment. घर पे भी ऐसा होता था, whenever I used to get a scolding from my mom or dad, then after a while I used to like ride my bicycle, and उसके बाद घर वापस आके it was all gone. I was not feeling any stress of any scolding or anything in my life. So I think that was the first memory of mine from the childhood, that held me factor. I think in most of the kids of India is Bollywood. So there were many Bollywood movies that I used to see on Z Cinema and Setmax that were coming on the on the dish channels on our TV, like the Muqaddar ka Sikandar, Amitabh Bachchan riding a bicycle and singing the song
Yeah.
रोते हुए आते हैं सब हंसता हुआ जो जाएगा. So आप जितने भी बाइकर्स को देखते हो ऐसी पोजीशन में, so they were feeling break free at that moment, be it Shah Rukh Khan in Deewana, singing the song that goes like कोई ना कोई चाहिए प्यार करने वाला. So all these things were like getting into my
Yeah.
in my subconscious mind that helped me develop there's a strong emotion for motorcycles.
Okay. I mean, I think Bollywood, no matter what anybody says, it does have a very great impact on our lives. While watching Boom movies and
John Abraham. Of course, we've all watched it and we've all
Hmm.
been like, is it as fun as it looks on screen? कि वो बाइक को चेस कर रहे हैं और भाग रहे हैं. In real life also it's as thrilling.
आ, हाँ, वो फन है वॉच करने में, बट रियलिटी में it's not very safe. Like those speeds, like when they shoot those movies, they maintain like the other cars, like जो road पे होते हैं, they should be driving, let's say about like 20 kilometers per hour. And normally हम जब गाड़ी हम लोग चलाते हैं, on an
हाँ.
average we maintain around 50 to 60 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
So those cars are driven at a very low speed so that the bikes can zoom past them around at like 50, 60 kilometers per hour. And then they fast forward it to increase the speed on the frame during editing. So वो दिखता है कि वो 200 kilometers per hour पे जा रहा है, और दिखेगा वो काटा ऐसे करके 200, 300 जा रहा है. बट वो अलग से वो पॉइंट शूट कर लेते हैं. लाइक देयर इज बेसिकली एन इंडोर सेटअप वेयर यू प्लांट द बाइक and you rev it so that it's basically
Yeah.
called dyno testing. So वो 300
Yeah.
किलोमीटर पर आवर दिखा देते हैं, but it's fun only in movies. In reality, you are basically challenging death, so it's not good at all.
What is your average speed when you're riding your bike?
It depends on again the road. See, if you touch down any expressway, like in India, I don't know why in expressway bikes are not allowed, just because the Indian audience on a like very general manner अब तो बढ़ चुका है. Like
हाँ.
previously अब तो लोग helmets लगाना start कर रहे हैं just because चालान वगैरह होने लग गए हैं. But expressway पे there are different speeds. Expressway पे bikes allowed नहीं है. Highway पे there are like different speeds. I usually ride somewhere depending on the road and stuff and my bike's capability somewhere between 100 and 150. So that is on the highways. But in city, of course, I keep the needle under 100.
Okay. So now coming to the other part of it, you were mentioning that if you ride the way it's actually shown in the movies, you're challenging them, which is the reason why I am so scared of seeing bikers ride, because
Mm-hmm.
I have had a personal experience where I was coming back from a late night family function with my parents, and we were obviously in our car, and there were these five, six boys on their individual bikes who
Mm-hmm.
started, and my car was not the only car on the road. There were other cars also. It's 11, 13, 12. And these guys just came and they started doing these weird stunts on the road,
Mm-hmm.
in between cars also, where one bike I particularly remember, because this guy, he was a Sardar, he came exactly in front of my car, and he lifted his bike like that. It just went straight, and like my father pushed the brakes so hard. We were so scared. Like गलती से भी लग ना जाए उसे. And what ultimately happened was that maybe he pulled his bike up too high, or what, he actually fell, and
Mm-hmm.
he just created this whole mess on the road. And I was like, oh my god, why do you want to do things which can get you killed
Exactly.
practically, right?
Yeah.
And I have seen boys do that. I have seen my friends do that for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I watch a video like that, I am just like, oh my god, please don't do this. कहीं
Absolutely.
तुम ऊपर नीचे कुछ हो गया ना, we will be the one crying for you, right? So
Absolutely.
have you seen something that I'm sure you've seen it, but have you also tried doing certain stunts or all of these things?
No, I don't believe in stunts, first of all, because they are way too dangerous. Because bike
Yeah.
itself is speeding, that I do it in a very cautious manner. That I have to be alert, eyes on the road, and like what is coming from over and there. Most importantly, in India, cows can come literally from anywhere. So you have to be very on point and stuff. But stunts, I haven't tried, and I will not try it either.
Like for talking about myself, I am a very slow rider. Like I like to keep my bike at 70, 80. That's it. I like to like roam around on my bike, but I don't do stunts. I can't do stunts because my bike is so heavy. Yes, we have tried of doing this because when we were in school, then we used to go in empty fields and do all those wheelies and along with friends. But just because it's not that safe, you need a professional guidance. You need a proper training from a like expert guy for because these things are very dangerous because if it can like really harm you. So I know
Yeah.
my friends who are like professional who are doing this, but they do that in the closed environment wherever there is a like competition of it, not on the busy roads, not on the national highways. Like I see reels of people like doing wheelies on highways and all. Obviously that's risky and it's not okay.
Those wheelies and in a higher segment bike, like a 1000 cc or a super sports bike, when you just pull the throttle, just because of the weight of the bike is so less and the engine is so powerful and the chain drive is towards the rear wheel, automatically the bike, pops the wheelie. But you have to control it. There is a mechanism to control that. So you don't do it intentionally. But those guys, the
Yes.
incident that you're talking about, I see them every Sunday when I go on a ride. People are doing that even after wearing gears. But
Yeah.
people do that even without wearing gears. So that community is, I would say, मतलब इनकी ना बहुत ज़्यादा बदनामी है बाइकर कम्युनिटी में. What we call as I don't know if you will cut this, but we call it them as like chapri. So इन्हीं की वजह से इंडियन रेगुलेशंस लॉज कभी ना प्रोग्रेस नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज द सेंस जो फॉरेन ये कम्यूटर्स ये सारे व्हीकल लॉज है दे डू मेक सेंस इंडियन लॉज में इसी वजह से बाइक्स में एग्जॉस्ट नहीं आप लगा सकते हर चीज पे चालान है कुछ भी मॉडिफिकेशन आप गाड़ी में भी ज्यादा मॉडिफाई नहीं करवा सकते उस पे चलान है सिर्फ ऐसे कम्युनिटी की वजह से बिकॉज वो ऐसे करके नॉर्मल पब्लिक को ट्रबल करते हैं विच इज डेंजरस if you have to
Yeah.
pop a wheelie there are basically different arenas in Gurgaon where you can drift a car where you can pop a wheelie where you can break your bike
Yeah.
not like कुछ जाता वाता नहीं है but don't do that on a road maybe the person who is driving behind you does like maybe he or she is a beginner they don't know to brake hard so उसमें उनका भी डैमेज हो जाएगा तुम्हारा भी डैमेज होगा and just because if a car hits a bike then उसमें कोई ये नहीं देखता कि किसकी गलती थी कि बाइक वाला कहाँ से आया सब लोग गाड़ी वालों को ही पकड़ेंगे so
Yeah.
that's the situation I don't believe all of that but you know कुछ कर नहीं सकते.
But over here, I'll say one thing that I can say in a way I'm an audience over here because I don't ride the bike, so I can listen to your stories and also based on my own experiences with when I have seen people riding their bikes. Mostly, what I am seeing in the youth today, especially with people who are our friends and people who are of the same age group, this whole community is thriving on let's say uh, the factor of looking cool, राइट कि आप बाइक चला रहे हो आप वो शॉट आ रहा है आपका बाइक चलाते हुए और आप कूल लग रहे हो आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट दिस इज द मेंटालिटी ऑफ एवरीबडी बट as an audience what you see on social media this is the image that is getting portrayed out over there कि ये एक cool चीज है and mostly this is something that is dominated by men. And I have seen a few videos of, there's this very famous girl who keeps posting videos with different bikes, very expensive bikes every now and then, and she rides them like a pro. Like I think that's the way she also is she's made this a part of her livelihood. But mostly what you see is that वो लाइन में 10-15 लड़के they are riding bikes, and this is something that is the group वो you see videos of just men over there on their bikes, and it feels like it's a group of a male dominated part of uh, community which just wants to look cool. And for looking cool, you're ready to risk your life, you're ready to risk lives of other people on the road as well. Because ऐसा नहीं है कि हमने न्यूज में नहीं देखा है या
Mm,
पेपर में नहीं देखा है कि, एंड वी हैव आल्सो एक्सपीरियंस कि हम आप आराम से अपनी गाड़ी में चल रहे हो एंड सडनली
yeah,
दिस गाय कम्स विद अ बाइक, और वो ऐसे ऐसे पूरा अपना झूल झूल के, even on a road like ये Delhi road which is
yeah,
anyway so heavily, there's so much traffic of vehicles and everything, वो बीच में से दो गाड़ियों के बीच में से एकदम से ऐसे 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 करके निकलते हैं. And my question at that point of time is why? ये करके क्या कूलनेस आ रहा है आपके लाइफ में, क्या थ्रिल आ रहा है, मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है. एंड आई गेट वेरी स्कैर्ड. सो like I'm sure you have also seen people from the biking community do this, and कहीं तो उनको कुछ encouragement मिलता होगा किसी से. जैसे आपने अभी बोला ना कि कोई एक बोल दे कि हाँ आप कर सकते हो, तो फिर आप में वो जोश आ जाता है. तो ये करने के लिए भी कोई कोई जोश देता है क्या कि नहीं नहीं करो, you look cool? Because I don't get the thought process over here, like frankly speaking.
this is because now like एक शो मतलब एक नॉर्मल कल्चर होता है, एक शो कल्चर भी होता है. सो लाइक देर इज टू थिंग्स व्हेन यू आर fond about something. So there is a classical approach and there is a romantic approach. So when you are having a classical approach, then you care about everything, everything that is
Yes.
concerned with that thing, be it motorcycling, be it anything in your life. But when you are romanticizing anything, then you tend to like look away on few aspects of it. You just take about the surface appeal of that thing. So I think these people who do these things, they are simply romanticizing about it. They are not
Hmm.
much concerned about the effects it can do on the context, on the other people. Like you go, like for me, whenever I am on bike, I don't like highways. I like like normal two-lane highways that are going to in the villages, in the small cities, like where I can actually see the what the city is going, because majorly all the expressways bypass all the cities. Then what's the point of riding a bike when you can't actually go through that city? Uh, So when you are in a city, you get to put your throttle down. You need to slow down your speed. Whenever there's a cow or a person on the road, or a like suppose a pet or a dog on the road, then we are applying the brakes. So I think this is a very nice thing for me, because it gives me a sense of generosity. It gives me a sense that okay, you do care about things, according of all the things around you. But sadly, there are many people like who do rash driving, who just look out of the surface appeal of it, who consider this
Yeah.
cool question for them, just to like throttle it when there's a girl on the road, on the street standing. I don't know what what difference it would make to them. And obviously rash driving is bad. Rash driving is bad, and
Yeah.
probably
And of course,
that's the reason why bikes are banned in India on major expressways, just because of the
speed.
idiocy of these people, stupidity of these people, that bikes are not allowed on many Indian expressways. Like there are many petitions from the motorcyclists, like to allow certain limit of engines. But again, if they would allow, then obviously there are majorly these kind of people also who are doing rash driving on the streets of that would ultimately lead to more accidents on such expressways.
I would say in India currently there is 80% of the crowd who does that. Those who
To
own
look cool?
bikes, yeah, yeah, to look cool, to get content from internet. Majorly पहले तो ये वेस्ट दिल्ली में बहुत ज्यादा चलता था एंड इसमें काफी सारा पुलिस केसेस वगैरह भी हुए हैं पहले ये न्यूज़ वगैरह में भी आया है बट देन टू लुक कूल इज अ रियली इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर आई डोंट नो व्हाट दे वांट टू prove it after doing like that but they record stuff on their GoPro put it on YouTube and then influence teenagers who will again
Yeah,
repeat that same thing so
yeah,
that's not a good practice.
That is why I also feel that, I mean, I don't know if you agree to it or not, but there is an inherent negative mindset in the Indian audience, at least for bikes. वो नॉर्मल वाला बाइक नहीं कि आप मतलब हीरो
Hmm.
होंडा चला रहे हो, बट
Hmm.
ये जो ऐसे स्टाइलिश वाले बाइक होते हैं,
Hmm.
parents and all, usually the older generation, they don't like it.
Well, that's not the case with me. Like मैं तो बहुत ज्यादा इंट्रिग हो जाता हूँ जब भी कोई ऐसी बाइक दिखती है. Like I pause a little जब तक वो आंखों के सामने चली नहीं जाती है. I keep looking at it. So obviously the sounds of the engine entice me
Yeah.
right from the beginning of my childhood days. So मेरे लिए ऐसा नहीं है. But yeah, you should be always respectful for the people on road, for the people around.
Yeah. I think more respectful towards your own life.
What's your
क्योंकि
own life?
you mentioned that there's a space in Gurgaon, and I'm sure there are other spaces as well where you can do these stunts and you can practice them or whatever you want to
Mhm,
do, you can do them. Let's say you're doing it on an empty road. And
mhm,
someone argues कि यार मैं तो खाली रोड पे कर रहा हूँ, अपने साथ कर रहा हूँ, तुम्हारा क्या जा रहा है? Right? Like that's the most
mhm,
basic argument that somebody can give.
mhm,
But as a person who does not ride bikes, and
mhm.
maybe just as a person who is consuming that content, my first question is, क्यों करना है?
Right.
Like, why do you want to do something that you know is going to risk your life? I mean, very recently I saw this news where this very famous biker who was earning
Yamuna
from,
Expressway.
yeah, he passed away, right? Bike पे ride करते करते कुछ कर रहे थे वो, and he like probably could not control, or I'm not sure what exactly happened, but the news was that he passed away, and
Mhm,
a lot of the people were coming out and saying that only if his family would not have supported him doing these kind of stunts, and only if somebody would have stopped him from taking so much risk, he would have been alive. Then how is this community growing so much, and how is it gaining so much popularity when everybody knows that this is a risky area?
see, uh, just like different aspects in Indian education system, where sex education is getting you know, some
Yeah.
eyes right now. People do need to focus on these things as well because you don't train somebody with like automobile laws and how to walk on the road or how to drive on the road or ride on the road. This is like fundamentally like if the fundamentals are not very good, then of course these things will happen. So about this incident only, this biker, a very famous biker, he was riding on Yamuna Expressway. Again, Yamuna Expressway, you should know the type of road. It is not completely like it's not built for speeding up to 300 kilometers per hour. So
Yeah. Oh my God.
exactly. And they were doing that. And they do like this, like आज तो हम 200 करके दिखाएंगे, आज तो हम 300 करके दिखाएंगे. करने से क्या हो जाएगा? Go to both international circuit ना. Even if you crash, at least you will hit a sand barrier or something like that, where bikers are cruising above 300 kilometers per hour. You don't have the money to spend by going into a proper track, and then you buy such a expensive bike which is worth like 20-25 lakhs, and then you shed out your life like just like that. So उसमें हुआ था ये. Again, this is what I have heard from different sources, but basically he lost control, not because he was cruising at such a high speed, but he basically fell off the bike, and then a truck went just over his head. So So that's what happened. And even if you buy, I would say, expensive helmets or stuff like that, if a truck is passing over you, which is carrying like tons and tons of goods, so your helmet wouldn't even sustain it. So that's the whole point.
I've never heard someone say that you need to educate people about the motor vehicles and how to ride them. That's a very very good point that you brought up, and I will actually go back and think about it because it never occurred to me also that you need a proper education for this. Oh yeah, okay. Another important point: how important it is to wear those gears. I've seen bikers wear all of these. Not just the helmet, but there's jacket and there's pants and then so much the gloves and everything.
So the entire, like, it's very important because first of all, there is a very good advertisement that was showcased recently that if you're wearing jeans, if you're wearing sneakers, and if you're riding, then if you crash, these cotton pants, these sneakers will not help you sustain that abrasion. So वो
Yeah.
फट जाएगा आराम से, तुम्हें पता भी नहीं चलेगा. So it's very important that you wear good riding boots कि अगर कोई ईट वीट भी अगर उड़ के आए तो तुम्हें ना लगे. गुड राइडिंग पैंट्स जिसमें नी गार्ड हो, क्योंकि जो कॉन्टैक्ट पैचेस होते हैं, लाइक इफ यू क्रैश, पहले आप अपने हाथ ऐसे लगते हैं, देन एल्बोज लगेंगे, कुछ ये होता है. तो सारा कुछ कर कुरा के, एंड मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली द हेलमेट शुड बी ऑफ good polycarbonate material. Don't settle down for any cheap helmets. Whatever you see on the roads where people are selling, it's as good as wearing like a Captain America ka helmet. So uh, don't do that. Ride out, like, have those proper gears. So I have made sure that invest more on gears rather than first going towards modifying your bike. So the gears itself are like above 20K. And so,
Oh wow.
yeah. So the jacket, the helmet that I wear, I have like two helmets. One of the helmet is like 12K. A jacket is like around 10K. So these, I know that a carbon fiber is light, it's comfortable, and it's also, it's quite shock proof. It won't break easily. It's very hard. So good stuff. So people should
Yeah.
definitely wear these things.
और बाइक्स में ये भी होता है कि जब whenever you are riding, कोई सामने से अगर आ रहा हो, यू सिंपली वेव एंड दे वेव बैक एट यू. सो लाइक मैं जैसे मेरे जैसे इंट्रोवर्ट इंसान के लिए ये चीज़ बहुत बड़ी है सोशलाइज करने के लिए, कि कोई बिना मतलब मैंने कोई एफर्ट नहीं लगाया और उस बंदे ने मुझे हाय कर दिया. मतलब वो सामने से आ रहा है, वो मुझे जानता भी नहीं है, लेकिन हम लोग सिंपली हाय कर. इफ यू आर एट अ ढाबा, देन नॉर्मल कन्वर्सेशन हो रही है, दे जस्ट रिस्पेक्ट यू. दे डोंट, भले ही उसके पास कोई सुपर बाइक हो, दे डोंट लाइक आपको ऐसा वो नहीं करेगा कि आपके पास कोई छोटी बाइक है. दे लाइक बाइकर्स दे ऑल रिस्पेक्ट यू वट एवर यू करे. बट यह है कि आपका पास प्रॉपर गियर वगैरह होना चाहिए, लाइक हेलमेट, प्रॉपर जैकेट एंड प्रॉपर शूज फॉर राइडिंग.
Agreed.
If you enjoyed the video, kindly press on the like button to show us your appreciation. And if you want to share with us your views, you can write it down in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and now we will meet in the next video.